Hi everyone, it's Bren here and welcome back to this week's garden update where we're actually in the last week of summer. I can't believe how fast the time has gone by and what a difficult and challenging summer it has been. But the garden, now that things are back to normal, has taken on a life of its own. Let me show you around. Let's start off over here where there's a bit of competition going on for this archway. On one side I have this container which has the mini bottle gourds in it, and on the other side I have this vine which has moved its way from over here right over to this section, and it's starting to grow up the archway, and that's called New Guinea Bean Gourd. And also this week I spotted some flowers on it which are really beautiful. I really wasn't expecting them to be white. I'll have to remember this and keep a mental picture of it when we're in the middle of winter. This is the way I love my garden looking, and it's taken till the end of summer. We've only got a few more days left till autumn, and it's finally all coming together and growing so beautifully. I'm really happy and pleased with how it's turned out. Over this way, I think I might have made a bit of a mistake with my seeds, because I thought this one here was going to be the Armenian striped cucumber, but then I discovered one on the plant and it just looks like a straight up Armenian cucumber. That one there is actually pretty much ready to harvest as well. Got the Gara flowers, I've got these which are the Bright Lights Cosmos, some Calendula, and the beautiful Amaranth Love Lies Bleeding. Lots of little flowers on the Evening Sun sunflower, and the birds don't seem to be going near them at all. Again, I haven't really had many birds in the garden compared to a few months ago when they were coming here for refuge and food and water. This area is much better now that we've had so much rain, and it means my sunflowers have been left alone, which is pretty good. I'm happy about that. Okay, so I've taken a deep breath because I did say I'd show you in this part of the garden, but I am preparing you for an absolute hot mess, so you're warned. I think I might have just got a bit, taken too much on board this summer, especially when we had to water with just buckets. And and I did have that big tree branch fall down and smash some of the plants in here as well. Not to worry, it's my first year, my first season in this part of the garden, and I've got lots of plans now for it over winter to get it ready for spring. At the entryway I have this cosmos plant, a few little zinnia flowers, you can see the red flowers there, and a self-seeded cucumber. And looking at the foliage, I actually think it might be a West Indian gherkin. I haven't spotted any fruit on it yet, but I have a good feeling. And how good would that be if it was, because I haven't actually sown it anywhere else this year. And then in this row I have some more cosmos. They'll all be flowering soon, they'll look nice. These are my tomatoes. There was some more plants over here, sunflowers, but the birds got to them. That one there is cotton plant, and then that's some root coming out from the ground. I think it's from the tree that was over there. Yeah, what else? I had some dahlias in here. My dahlias, as I've mentioned before, haven't been doing great. You can see a couple of plants there. This is the African blue basil. I do love this one. And then I had my urge, which has gone to seed. Yeah, it's looking pretty weedy and messy. I still haven't moved all the branches that I put over there. I've kind of let it go a bit, but it's all right because I can just start again now in a few weeks' time. If you come around this side, I do have some cosmos there. There was a couple of pumpkins down there, which I'm going to let grow. I showed you last week I have all the cucamelons growing here on this fence, and I've just thrown down all my different bits of cardboard to try and kill off the grass so that I can get this bed ready for next year. This tetra snapdragon has come back. It's flowering again, and there's plenty more buds on it as well. A bit late in the year for the snapdragons to be flowering, but it's the same with everything else in my garden. It's almost like what's happening now is what should have been happening a couple of months ago. I moved the pot of the Globe Amaranth strawberry fields under this orange tree, and I'm actually happy with how this looks. So I'm thinking probably next year I might try and grow some of this plant over here beside the orange tree. Speaking of the orange tree, the fruit on it is just getting bigger and bigger every week. It's dripping in it. This is the raised garden bed area, and you can see there that the entryway is starting to be blocked up with this pumpkin. I'll have to move it out of the way. I'm not going to actually go and take a look in here today, maybe next week, because I'm running out of time. But maybe next week we can have a bit better look in there. So many flowers everywhere. There's some more of the Globe Amaranth, some more cosmos, and this is tansy down here, which is a perennial herb. It was used a lot in the past for medicinal purposes, but not so much nowadays. I like it in the garden though. I think it looks kind of pretty and wispy, the way it's just kind of weaving in between all my different plants. The lemon balm that I cut back is now doing a second flush. Remember, I put some cosmos in there. They kind of be drowned out a little bit by the zucchini plant, and I still haven't got around to pulling out all of the corn plants, which are looking pretty miserable. Every week now I'm getting more and more dahlia flowers, quite a few on this plant which my friend gave me. She saved seeds from her garden. It's a mix between a red dahlia and a red and white striped one, and this was what it turned out to be. Let's head out the front garden. There's this flowering belladonna or naked lady. Absolutely, so I've never seen one with this many flowers on it before. These were the bulbs that I got off my husband's grandma. I've mentioned her so many times before, but I'm so lucky that I inherited all of her beautiful flowers and garden ornaments and pots, everything. I just feel so fortunate. These are my second round of zucchini plants, and I had a bit of a root around today and I found some. Let me show you. They're so small at the moment, but there's a budding squash. Plenty more on this plant. These are the green ones. That other one I showed you was a yellow button squash. On this one I have some Krockneck Squash. I hope I'm saying that right. It sounds so weird. They're a bit of an unusual shape. Really tiny at the moment, but you know, with a bit of watering, this time next week these will be full size and ready to harvest. Over here at the pumpkin patch, that pumpkin plant is going higher and higher up the tree. Can you see some of the leaves up there? I'm telling you, it'll probably reach the top by the end of the season. I've kind of figured out that I think most of this foliage is actually from my Queensland blue pumpkin, which seems to be a little bit of a tug in this area. There's one of the Sata melons, and actually while I'm showing you this, can I just say, on TikTok I've been putting up a lot of videos, and I put up a video where I harvested one of these and I did a taste test, so if you want to go and check it out, I'll put up the name here. And over here I'm kind of a bit upset to see that my pimply squash vine is dying off. It's had a really bad case of powdery mildew and it's just in an awful state. I'm afraid I'm going to have to pull it out, which I really don't want to do. I was excited about trying some pimply squash for the first time, but you know, that's what happens. I'm going to wrap up this week's video over here, where a few weeks ago it was just a big dusty mess with half dead plants, and now it has filled out, and I could not be more grateful for all the rain that we've had. So I'm going to head off, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again next Friday.